Hi, it's Jay Allen again. It's 12:30-ish. Okay, it's 1:45, but it's lunchtime on a Friday, and yet again, it's my 3 biggest learnings from this week. Not only as a business owner myself, but also as the founder of my TrueNORTH, the UK's leading ethical coaching company, and the founder of the Add a Zero Business Challenge. Remember, I do this every Friday lunchtime to share my 3 biggest learnings with you about being both a business owner and business coach, working with over 150 different business owners here in the UK and across the world, which I'll come to in a second or two. However, without further ado, let's dive straight in and talk about the 3 biggest learnings from this week. The first one I've entitled Stand Up, Stand Out and Stand Tall. You see, on Wednesday this week, I was off to London to be able to work with a whole team of other people on a collaborative project that we're working with for the 2018. And it very quickly became apparent that it was massively important to be able to pull people together and to understand and share the differences of who we are and what we're about and what we're capable of achieving. There's nothing more important than for you to be able to demonstrate who you are and why it's important for people to do business with you. And if you're working collaboratively, it's to be able to understand who you collectively is in order that you can all work successfully and succinctly as a team. So please, stop being vanilla is the big lessons today. It's stop being the same as everybody else. Stop standing out, start to stand out from the crowd and understand that in order to be hi Stevie G, lovely to have you with us, thanks very much for joining me. But the 3 big learnings this week are really about being willing to stand out, being willing to put yourself out there, put your head above the pulpit, and be willing to be able to do something a bit different. Lots of likes and likes from people here also. Thanks very much for joining me. Please understand, Warren Buffett once said, in order to be able to ascertain to the very top of your profession, in order to be able to climb that massive ladder, in order to be able to get to the very top in any profession you're in, you first have to differentiate yourself from everybody else at the bottom. So please, stop comparing yourself to anybody else other than, are you doing the best you can do for you, your customer, your brand, your future? You've got to be willing to be able to stand out and do something different if you want a different result in the end. Big lesson there, please. So take it on board and do something about it. What are you going to do? Write in the comments right now. What do you do that's different? How do you stand out from the crowd? How are you the category of one that makes you stand out and be different from everybody else in your sector, so people stop comparing you on price and stop comparing you on like-for-like comparisons and say, do you know what? I've got to book Jay, I've got to book my TrueNORTH because nobody else does it the way that they do it. Massive learning, please take it on board. So, second learning of my 3 biggest learnings this week, I've called Collaboration is the New Black. Now, a while ago, we often talked about white is the new black in fashion terms. And then they came along and said orange was the new black. I don't understand any of that fashion stuff. You can tell by my attire. What I do understand is that you will never, ever, ever get anywhere as near as to where you'd like to be, unless where you want to be is vanilla and average, unless you understand that to get there, you've got to get there as part of a team. Remember, the acronym TEAM simply stands for Together, Everyone Achieves More. So who's on your team? And I'm not just talking about the people that are sat around your desk right now. I'm talking about the wider network of people that are promoting you and your business. Who is out there at the moment that has got your back, that is willing to be able to stand forward and say, do you know what? I recommend X, or I suggest you go and speak to Y. Please, you've got to understand that the best you've got to be able to do is to be able to come together and find a collaborative of people that will help you grow and grow and grow. There was a book I read earlier this year and it said if you work individually, you can expect to earn X or X plus Y. However, if you grow a small team, and it doesn't have to be a team of people working directly in your business, it's all about outsourcing and JVs and partnership agreements these days. But if you work with a team, and it said in the example, a team of between 4 and 9 people. That's not a big team. If you think about any football or hockey or rugby, that's not a great team. That's not a big team. But if you work with 4 to 9 other dedicated professionals, each one of you will earn at least 4 times what you could have earned if you tried to do the same journey on your own. That's massive. So please, understand, who is it that's on your team, maybe even not salaried by you, but who else is it that's working with you to be able to make the most of what you've got to offer to them and their network, just as much as you've got to be able to promote them and theirs. I'm really excited to be working with a guy called Warren Knight on a job that we're looking at collectively to be able to provide some professional services and expertise out to the Middle East next year. I'm also really excited that I confirmed a conversation with yesterday, and as of January I'm going to be working with the Make It Happen team and Will Paulson to be able to bring some expertise and knowledge and raise the bar in Manchester as part of the Make It Happen team. And it's all about being able to understand who else is that's out there that you work collectively and collaboratively with, that together you both achieve and everybody achieves more. I've had a long-term agreement with Guy Bartlett from the Business Buyers Club on a JV relationship. And there's many others that I could list, and I'm not going to do on this particular video because I wanted to keep it short as it's a Friday lunchtime. But please understand, you will always achieve more if you work collectively and collaboratively with other people who are on the same journey or trying to take you to the same level of working with the same audience to be able to provide more than you do if you're selfish enough to believe that, do you know what, they're all mine. Please don't do that. Big second lesson this week. And my third lesson I've called, you are more important than your business. Now don't get me wrong, there are times when you sit at your desk and you honestly believe that it's life or death situations that you've got to get in there and do it. And I've got to tell you, it's not the case. Please do not get into the trap of living to work. Now don't get me wrong, I do some hours. But I don't do any hours that I don't want to do. I work the hours that I want to do because they cease to become work. And yesterday, I took the day off. Yep, it's a Thursday, it's the run up to Christmas, we've got loads going on before we close the office on the 19th, 20th. However, yesterday was important and we took the day off. I had a spa, we went out for a bit of a walk and some lunch. We eventually went off to the theatre for the evening. It was great just to have a day without my phone, without my emails, without my text messages, to be able to have some time back for me. Because ironically, what you will find is that while you continue to try and put 100% in, time after time after time, I guarantee you, you'll fail every time. You see, we're not computers. And even computers get it wrong, and computers don't work effectively all the time, but we're not computers. And the more that you try to be 100% all of the time, the more you'll fail to be 100% all of the time. You've got to understand that it's about measure of business and pleasure. You've got to be able to get the balance right between one and the other in order that when it matters, and you've got to be 100%, that you've got 100% capabilities to give, because you've already restocked the batteries and all that type of stuff. So please, my third biggest lesson is to understand that in order for you to be the best that you can be, whether that in business or in a relationship or in life in general, then you've got to be willing to give yourself 100% in order to be able to give others 100% also. You've got to look after you and what you're capable of doing and understand your own limitations, both physically and mentally, socially and spiritually, in order to be able to give the most you possibly can to other people. They're my 3 big lessons this week, so please go away from here, drop a few comments below, talk about how you stand out from the crowd in order to be able to stand up and stand tall. Talk about the collaborations that you're in or you're going to work with, as to what are you going to do differently, or who are you going to look to work with or alongside in order to be able to build you and your business and help them build them and theirs. And also, take a bit of time out. Enjoy the day, it's Friday. So please, have a fabulous weekend. And I very much look forward to sharing my 3 biggest learnings with you next week. The same time, Friday lunchtime, probably around 12:30, 12:45ish, as I get off the phone. Okay? Have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. That's Jay Allen from My True North, the UK's leading ethical coaching company. See you soon.